Hi there, welcome everybody to the It's Wrestling Time post show. Tonight I will be doing turning point predictions, and joining me for this is none other than the Renegade JJ Williams.
Hello, how are we doing this evening?
Doing good. Just I had a lot on my plate. Was not expecting to do so much today, honestly.
It's all good. I mean, I was expecting to do predictions with the Simple Man Noah Foster. We should have
Me
been
too.
live about an hour and a half ago. Unfortunately, he was under the weather, so I was just kind of like, let's do this. Like, first of all, we haven't done a stream together in a minute. Just you and
Because
I.
of your
Last time,
back.
exactly. The last time I was carrying you through an NXT review, which you've done multiple NXT reviews without me since then. So congratulations. But
Thanks.
there's just so much that came out today, TNA news wise, happening on Impact, that is like I just thought we needed to do this today.
Yeah.
So that's why I
Today.
came to you. Plus, I don't know if you realize it, but it's the 20th anniversary of the passing of Eddie Guerrero today.
Of course I realized it. Hello. Like shit.
Hey, believe it or not, I actually talked to a couple people that didn't realize it today. Okay, so that's why I said it that way.
Of course I know today's a Patinette girl. Come on now. Nice. That's so cool.
I tried to find my Latino Heat Scarface shirt, but for some reason it's not in my closet here. It must still be in storage.
Wish I still have my Eddie merch.
This one I actually have an interesting story about, if I can indulge for just a second. I bought this swap meet that my dad and I used to go to in Cypress, California. Cypress College used to have a swap meet every weekend. $1 I paid for this t-shirt.
Wow, that's cool.
$1, and it's the only shirt I know of that has Rey Mysterio without his mask on it.
Wow,
because he was unmasked at that point in WCW.
Nice. That's a vintage find.
Right?
All right. So let's do this. Turning Point is tomorrow live on TNA Plus.
Or tonight for those of you watching on the East Coast, as it is after midnight for them. So,
yeah. All right, so let's kick things off talking about this Knockouts World Tag Team Championship match. It's the Inspiration versus Victoria Crawford and Tessa Blanchard versus the Angel Warriors. Who do you see? Who do you got winning this one?
I feel like the Inspiration hasn't had the belts back for that long. So I figure they're going to retain. The sad part about it is, and if I get to talk with Noah about this, I know he's going to hate me for it. Because I didn't come up in the black and gold NXT, I'm not attached to the Iconics, the Inspiration, like y'all are. I think they're overrated. I don't think they're as great as people. I don't think they're as great as people make them out to be, because I didn't see their come up. I would honestly prefer either of the other teams to win, and I'm not even a Victoria Crawford / Alicia Fox fan. I despise her. I prefer Tessa Blanchard to Victoria Crawford. And we all know the stank of chaos and controversy that follows Tessa. I'd honestly prefer the Angel Warriors win. But if I'm betting money, I'm betting on the Inspiration to retain.
That's interesting. I have to say, like, why I like the inspiration and why they haven't had the belts too long, I'd say give it to Victoria Crawford and Tessa Blanchard, just because I feel like they're the next team in the Knockouts Tag Team division, and then you can build the Angel Warriors to take off the belts off Tessa Blanchard and Victoria Crawford.
That's a fair shout. That's a fair shout. I liked Xia Li, Lei Yin Lin when she was still in WWE. I thought she had a unique look and something special to her, even though she wasn't getting booked that much and used that much. And I've been a fan of Xia Brookside since I first saw her on Impact. So the team of Xia Squared, as I like to call them,
Oh yeah,
I would prefer them get the dub because I feel like there's enough heel teams that could chase them.
yeah.
I don't feel like there's that many babyface teams.
I feel
So
you. Okay, interesting choice. We're 1-1. I don't have Noah's prediction league, but you know,
it's all good.
it will have an imaginary one. All right. So next, let's talk about some the Rascals versus the System with the personal concierge. All right. So obviously, I feel like Des or FKA Wesley is going to be the fourth member of the Rascals. And I honestly think the Rascals should get the victory here over their System, especially with Des rejoining them.
The heavy rumor is that the former Wesley will be the last person on the Rascals team, but I'm not sure storyline wise how much sense that makes.
Yeah.
Considering the last time we saw Wesley interact with the Rascals, he was turning heel on Trey and Zach. So for him to just be accepted back in the treehouse randomly, out of nowhere, no explanation given whatsoever, it would be a very TNA thing to do. But I feel like they've moved on from that era, especially now that they're partnered with WWE.
Well,
I think
I
there'd
think some
have to at
people would
least
just.
be, I think there'd at least have to be a little bit of tension, a little bit of hesitation, especially between Trey, Zach, and Desmond. Not as much Myron, because Myron wasn't around when the turn happened.
The thing is, I don't know who else fits with the Rascals. See,
Me
I
neither.
feel like this one's a hard one because yeah, everyone and their mothers are expecting Des, but like you said, that whole storyline, it's they're not just gonna welcome him back with open arms. So who else could it be? Maybe a debut?
Possibly. I don't really know. That's the thing is I don't know enough about Rascal history to know what would make sense.
I don't know who else could it be. I really don't.
I
See,
would
if
say
my
Cedric, but Cedric's already got a match. That would
yeah,
maybe make sense. He's got a similar style to the Rascals. He's known for being in a group, Hurt Business, but he's already teaming with the Hardys later on the
okay,
show.
Charles.
So it can't be him. You know, I don't think we have Cardona booked on this show, but he doesn't make sense. He wouldn't fit. I can't really think about who else it could be. Wesley seems like it's the logical choice, but I'm curious how they're going to tell the story. Maybe they'll work it where like Myron is the one that brings him back because Myron doesn't know about the turn because he wasn't there. That could possibly be a way to kind of bridge it, you know. I don't know.
Unless they pretend to welcome him back and then just bail halfway through the match. If I'm hanging.
I don't know because that would mean the Rascals are turning heel
Well,
because
the
the
systems
system have
are.
kind of become de facto baby faces lately, haven't they?
Yeah.
So this is a face and face match. That's part of what makes it so weird. Or have the Rascals gone heel and I haven't seen it because it's been a minute.
No.
I mean,
It's
because
kind of.
they interrupted the system tonight. JDC was announcing his retirement come Genesis, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
And the Rascals interrupted it, which that's a pretty heelish thing to do. So maybe they are teasing a heel turn. Maybe it can be Wesley Desmond that brings the heel out of them since he turned on them.
Also, when did Wesley get released? Assuming 30 is it, I do see the system winning this. Oh, I don't know. This one left me scratching my head because if it's not Wesley, I can't think of who else it would be. Nobody else fits.
Yeah.
All right. So who you got then? The system?
No, because I don't trust the system. I don't care if they're baby faces. I still don't trust the system.
I
So I'm
still
gonna go
trust
with
the
the
system.
Rascals. I'm gonna go with the Rascals. And Charles, I believe his 30 days are up already because he's promoted to be at the House of Glory Super Clash show the following night. So his 30 days could be up as of tomorrow, which may be why he wasn't on the show tonight, but will be the mystery person tomorrow.
Well, technically it is tomorrow, so he's technically a free agent on the East Coast.
Technically, yes.
If you want to get technical.
Yes.
All right, now let's have some more knockouts action. It's Kalani Jordan. You know what? This one's easy. It's gonna be Kalani Jordan retaining. No, I like Maggie Lee. I think she's really coming into her own, but there's no way she's beating Kalani Jordan.
I agree, but I think this match is being done to give Maggie M a showcase.
Oh, of
You know,
course,
because Kaylani is still an up and comer too. She's NXT. She's not main roster. So she's still learning the ropes herself. But I think Kaylani is further along than Maggie Lee. So they're giving Maggie to Kaylani so Kaylani can bring the best out of her.
Yeah, I really think this is gonna be like you said, a showcase for both women. I think this is. I still think that this is gonna be a good match. Maggie Lee or Emma Elegance, she's good, and Kalani Jordan is good. And like you said, this is just to showcase both of them. But obviously, Kalani's retaining here.
Yeah, I would be more worried about the title if it was Heather fighting Kaylani than I am with it being Maggie.
Yeah. All right.
Although,
Mhm.
let's not forget Ash had to surrender the title, and that's how Lonnie got it in the first place. So it going back to a member of the Elegance brand could be a nice full circle moment.
Also knowing Gold Rush is next week, so the belt's not changing hands. Oh yeah, definitely not. All right. So next, let's do Cedric Alexander and the Hardys versus Mustafa Ali and the Great Hands. So for me here, I feel like I don't know how long you've been watching TNA, but as someone who's liked the Great Hands from the get go, even back when they were the Good Hands, and even back before John Skyler and Jason Hodge became a tag team, I've always felt like Jason Hodge himself is underrated. He's definitely has a lot of potential, and I think that together they're an underrated tag team, and I feel like the Great Hands have been kind of just there until they got paired up with Mustafa Ali. And I feel like now is the time to like really strap the rocket on them and build that because kind of like the system, I do see Order 4 winning all the gold. So they have to start picking up wins here. So in my opinion, I gotta go with Mustafa Ali and the Great Hands here. I think that they need to start picking up the wins because eventually I do see the Great Hands feuding with the Hardys and being the Great Hands to take the belts off of them.
I think that's a fair assessment. When I started getting back into TNA again, I remember telling you, I really enjoyed the Good Hands. I thought they were a solid tag team. Good work horses, if you will. Good little hands, as the term is, and they were called the Good Hands. So it totally fit. They were a team that you could put in there and you knew they were going to make the opposition look good without worrying about giving them an L. I definitely see them being the ones to potentially take the straps from the Hardys. The question is, when are the Hardys' contracts over? Because I do see the Hardys going back to the Fed for another run, possibly even at WrestleMania, going into Mania, possible Hall of Fame induction, and then maybe one more year after that before being done. So that's my biggest question mark, is because I think you've got to pull the trigger with enough time where the great hands can take the straps and get a little mini back and forth with the Hardys out of it, where the Hardys try to regain the titles from them and they can't. And maybe Ali makes the stipulation that if the Hardys can't win them, they're gone. They have to leave TNA, and that's how you can write them out. It's been done a million times, but it's a successful trope. That's why it gets done.
Or they can get beat up and get sent to the hospital and never come back.
I also think Cedric being in this, I think that's the way that you get them the W without hurting the Hardys, is you have one of them pin Cedric.
I could see that.
So
I just, well, I'm speaking as a Grey Hands fan. I just feel like they've been, like, how can you say, jokes for too long, and I feel like them doing being with older fours, giving them something to actually like do and be like legitimate. And I feel like they have to start. I personally see them as the next tag team champions, and if it's not the Good Hands, then I don't know who's taking those belts off the Hardys. It personally should be the Great Hands because there's no other heel tag teams.
if it's not the
But
great hands, I want it to be Sinner and Saint. Now that they've gotten away from Eric Young, it seems like.
But the problem with Sinner and Saint is that they're where the Great Hands were before they joined Order 4. They're kind of just there. And they also need to be built up. At least the Great Hands are with Order 4. That's why I feel like the Great Hands are the team to be, are the team that are going to take the titles off the Hardys.
Well, Sinner and Saint were with EY for a while there, the Northern Armory, but
Yeah.
I feel like they've kind of moved on from that. So maybe that's part of the push towards getting them taken more seriously in the tag division. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But either one of those teams, I'd be cool with defeating the Hardy Boys, because I've been fans of both since I started watching.
Yeah. All right. Next, we have more knockouts action. It's a Indy Hartwell versus Danny Luna no disqualification match. So this is quite interesting. Um, I have to say, like, I feel, hmm, I feel like Indy might get the win here just because she already lost to Kalani. But I feel like if you're gonna build up Danny Luna, she needs to get the win here.
My my heart says Danny Luna. My betting instinct sends Indy Hartwell,
Yeah, that's
especially
how I
since
feel
it's Full
too.
Sail.
Yeah,
Especially since it's Full Sail and Indy has history at Full Sail.
yeah, yeah. That's how I feel too.
Although the flip side of that coin is, what better way to make a name for Danny than to beat the shit out of Indy in somewhere where she's got that kind of history in, and there being no one that can save her.
It says Indy's going to win this match. I do expect Indy getting the knockouts in January at this point. Well, if Indy wins, then that probably means that she is going to win the knockouts title at some point. But I'm also going to go with Indy.
Yeah, if I'm betting, I'm going with Indy too.
So you're a betting man?
Well, I mean, I do the predictions league for Noah, so that's kind of like betting because you're making your picks, you're locking them in.
But you're not wagering money.
No money is on the line there, but if you want to win, then you got to play like you're putting money on the line. So,
Why are you not making more interesting and actually put money on the line?
because the people that usually do this stuff are broke.
Oh, I see. All right. So next we got TNA AJ Francis versus BDE. So I don't know much about BDE. I know he was in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. Um, I to me, I feel like something has gotta give with AJ Francis. He's proving to be a main eventer. It doesn't. It seems like first class is done for after he chokes on Rich Swan in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet. So I feel like AJ Francis should win this, and he has to win gold this year because anyone tagged in gold. At least give him like the international title. He was digital media champion, but the digital media title doesn't exist anymore. So I just feel like if he's not gonna be world champion, what is he gonna be champion again?
I think this is going to be a squash match. I think AJ is just going to destroy BDE. I don't know much about BDE.
Me neither.
You know, he could be a great talent. And you do look occasionally for like those big upsets. You know, the
Mm-hmm.
1-2-3 kid beating Razor Ramon type of situation. I don't think this is that though.
Same.
I think AJ Francis has to get this in a dominant manner. Now, depending on where on the card this is, Rich Swan could play a factor into it. Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, if Rich Swan's X Division Championship match happens first, and if AJ does something to cost Rich, since he chokeslammed him in the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, Rich Swan could get his receipt, allowing BDE to get the victory. That's the only way I could see BDE getting a dub.
Charles is funny enough. This is not the first time they face each other. They actually face each other at Wrestling Revolver in October, where BDE beat AJ.
That's different, though. That's the independence.
Yeah.
That's the local talent looking strong in their home promotion. Big difference.
Yeah. All right. So next we got the X Division Championship match: Leon Slater versus Rich Homie Swan. I
Leon
don't know.
McLean's next. Sorry.
Oh my god! Feel you. I was gonna say, well, what if he loses and he goes on with Javon Evans to capture the NXT tag titles?
I no.
No.
For some reason I could see Javon beating Ethan Page for the North American title. That way both of them have a championship of their own promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And then they also win a tag title together.
Kind of wanted Ethan Page to be a three belts Ethan. So we'll see. We'll see
Ethan
what
three
happens.
belts.
Yeah, Ethan three belts.
EP3 instead of EC3.
EP. Yeah, that's actually quite like that. EP3. All right. So, last but certainly not least, this match graphic needs to be updated. We have Mike Santana and Steve Macklin versus Nick Nemeth and the new TNA World Champion, the King of TNA himself, Frankie Kazarian.
I can't wait to talk about this with Noah because I can forever shut him up now. Because he's
We're
always
all
like, well, he's not a king without a throne. He's not a king without his crown. Well, the king finally has his crown, damn it.
congrats to the new TNA World Champion Kaz and the newest member of the TNA Grand Slam.
That's right. He's only the sixth Grand Slam person in TNA history.
Ugh.
That's
But I don't like how
crazy.
Mike lost the belt in 4 weeks. Yeah, that was the talk of Twitter, I would say. A lot of people are not. Well, first, I think I think Mike Santana and Steve Macklin. I don't know, because now that Frankie, before the main event, I would have told you Mike Santana and Steve Macklin, but now I don't know. I mean, could Nick Nemeth cost Frankie the match because Nick Nemeth wanted to cash in?
Always
This one's a hard
possible.
one.
Doesn't Nick still have his opportunity to call his shot?
I don't know because Frankie called the shot tonight.
Well, but as far as I know, they were co-winners.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I don't know how that works.
I just want Frankie to hold the belt for a while because the running trend here lately has been the TNA World and Knockouts champion are in the Rumble. So I
Mhm.
expect Kaylani to lose the title prior to the Rumble. But I want Frankie to hold on to it because I would love to see Frankie Kazarian in the Royal Rumble.
We'll
Even with
see.
it being in Saudi, like forget about that for a minute. I just think it would be so cool for Frankie Kazarian to have that moment.
Well, you do have a point there. Well, you do have a point that the knockouts and the world champion have been in the Rumble. Is it possible that they wanted that to happen because they wanted Jordan Grace and Joe Henry?
Possible, but what's the story with Mickey James then?
Well, she's a former WWE talent, and if they wanted her, you know, she showcased the
Well,
belt.
and if you watch the Chris Van Vliet interview, apparently, according to Mickey, Vince didn't even know that Mickey was in TNA.
Oh.
They wanted her, and one of the producers was like, you realize she works for TNA now, right? And so that's how the ball started rolling on getting her for the appearance.
Hmm.
But I do agree that they wanted Jordan, they wanted Joe, so that's why they made it happen. And I do think there's other talents in TNA that they want. I mean, it's always possible, and I'm just speculating here. It's always possible Santana lost the title because he's going to get signed and be one of those mystery opponents.
Emmanuel over here says he thinks Mike got injured in a trick match and the injury angle goes to pull him out. Maybe, I don't know. It's either or. It's either A, he's leaving, or B, he's injured. We won't know until we get confirmation.
I mean, just think about it. One of the mystery opponents is going to appear tonight on SmackDown. The other one is going to appear on Monday night in New York City at Madison Square Garden. Where's Santana from?
He's from um, New York, but so is Matt Cardona.
Eh,
And Matt Cardona has history with, well, I know they said they didn't have to have history, but still,
Gunther doesn't have history with John Cena either.
I know.
So I'm just saying, like, it's possible. As soon as I heard about the Raw one, I was like, okay, that's got to be Joe Hendry because you want Joe Hendry to at least be able to have an interaction with Cena. And this was before they announced him being signed by WWE.
Mm-hmm.
But with the way Santana lost that title, Santana could very easily be the New York surprise. And Joe Hendry could just be there anyways because they could do the whole thing where he goes SmackDown, Raw, NXT to see where he ends up.
Well, the thing is, you really want to put Joe Henry against L.A. Knight, yeah?
Two former TNA World Heavyweight Champions in their own right.
But I know, but I mean, I would just think that if you're gonna put Joe Henry, you would put Joe Henry against Solo because that way the crowd can be fully behind Joe Henry.
We'll see.
You have to wait and see.
I believe Santana has past history with Zilla Fatu, which Zilla is part of that family. So that could be the connection there for Santana versus Solo.
Yeah, we'll see. We shall see. But I guess that's it. That's it for predictions.
Yeah, that was quick. Not
Yeah.
near as long winded as some of the simply predicting panels, but then again, those usually have 4 or 5 people all waxing philosophical and fantasy booking. So this was very simple, just you and I.
Yeah, it's true. That's why I wasn't expecting the show to take too long because it's just us two.
Hmm. So you can
You
actually
mean
go back to watching the episode of TNA Impact from tonight.
it says you, me, you, JJ, and Watcher. Yeah, we go off the rails a lot when it comes to fantasy booking. Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Charles and Emmanuel are off and on simply predicting. And then you got me, you got Noah. Like you said, you got Walter. Sometimes you've got Stat Boy. It can get
Oh,
nuts.
I need an overlays for everybody. I don't have overlays for everyone. Anywho, where can people find you?
Well, you can find me on X at ROWJJ Williams. You can also find me on X at Casa D18 Studio. You can find the Simply Reliable Studios on SR Studios 2024. That's where you can vote for the first ever Simply Reliable Studios Awards. We currently have the poll up right now for Babyface of the Year. So make sure you get your votes in for that. And then you can find me on YouTube at Casa D18 Studios.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Datila underscore in my right there. Underscore. You know, I talk wrestling, Power Rangers. You can find me occasionally over at Simply Reliable Studios. God, I keep thinking it's this way. Um, you can catch us off what?
We've actually got something special coming up, right? Starting on the first Tuesday in December, we're
Oh
going to
yeah,
be doing Power Ranger Christmas episode watch-alongs.
you're gonna be watching Alpha's Magical Christmas. I'm dreaming of a White Ranger, and I'm assuming for the first time ever, JJ will be watching Zeos, A Season to Remember.
Yep. I honestly don't remember watching that one because I wasn't watching Rangers at that point. So if I did see it, it was one of those things where I saw it in passing and I just don't really remember it. But the other two I owned on VHS. So I've seen those multiple times.
Yeah. Okay, I've seen a season to remember. It's actually well, I'll probably say this again on the stream, but a season to remember was actually the last episode aired of Zeo, even though it wasn't the grand finale of Zeo because it aired closer to the holidays. But that was the last episode that aired, but it wasn't considered the finale.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Alrighty, I cannot wait for that. We'll keep you guys updated on that. But with that being said, thank you guys all so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell so you get notified whenever we go live or whenever Simply Reliable Studios goes live. And we'll see you guys tomorrow here and over there as they do the TNA. You guys are doing TNA, right? At
Yep.
Turning Point.
Turning
Okay.
Point watch along. Yep. Walter and Noah will be on that call.
All right. Bye.